So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Dad here from Steph War Games. And as we've been doing for the past few weeks, you guys have voted for the deck that I should take to my locals this weekend. And then I'm going to profile it and give you a bit of a rundown of how it went. So I took at Ignistas, which won the last poll, to both my locals. In the first one I went 2-2 and I kind of played myself. I Nibiru'd a Crusadia player way too early, and I should have done so much better. I was expecting him to search out the quick play that protects his monsters, so I kind of messed myself up on that one. And then at my locals yesterday, I got 3rd place without Ignistas, losing to Dinos. Very, very good games with Dinos. Both different variants as well. One was more of a trap variant, so that they could go first, and one was more of the standard True King kind of VFD play as well. So very, very good games. I also faced yesterday Zephyrs, Pendulum Zephyrs. I also faced, what were my other 2 games? Just trying to remember what my other matchups were. Shadow Invoked and Salaman Grace. So very, very good games, very, very fun, very, very powerful. There is straight away an instant change I'm going to make to deck, and I'll explain as we go through it. So we start off with triple Achichi at Ignista. This is obviously your Stratos, your Rotor, your Searcher of the monsters of your deck. So you play 3 of this. Triple Picari, this is the second part of the 2-card combo between the 2 of these. That let you go full combo, so you have to play 3 of this. Double Doyon, I used to play 3, dropped it to 2. Definitely the right decision. You don't really want to open up with it early game, because if you open up early game with nothing in the graveyard, it's of no use to you. And 9 out of 10, you're searching it off of Vichichi. 2 Buru, now the reason we play 2 is just to be able to search it off of Cyber's Wicked. You could arguably play at 1, but then if you open that up, your Wicked then becomes a little bit slower. So you kind of have to play 2 on this one. And then I put the 1 Doshin in. Now this I put in at the last minute, and foolishly I put this in, and I was going to put the fusion spell in, but I completely left the fusion at home. And that's the first big mistake. That card, I saw a profile that wasn't playing it, and then through more playing over the past 2 days, you need it so bad. The fusion guarantees you're going to do damage. So if you do not get Nibiru'd, and even if you, the smart thing you could do is you go into Firewall Dart Fluid Dragon. And then they can't Nibiru you, or if they go to Nibiru you just negate it. So it depends on how late they want to hold on to a Nibiru. I think I got Nibiru'd a total of 3 times yesterday. The first time he did it way too early. I was able to still full combo off and win the game from there. The second one, he did it early, but I wasn't able to extend as far as I would have liked. And then the third one, he did it at the perfect time, and it completely wiped my board. So there's different times of when you hit a Nibiru on it. My advice is you hit them the second they put Templar plus a Synchro plus an XYZ on board, because then they can't go into Dark Fluid. Or that's when their next move is going to be Dark Fluid, or they're going to go in for the attack for game. So that's when you Nibiru them. We then played with Lady Debug. I took out the Flame Buffaloes completely, no point in those whatsoever. Debug gives you the guaranteed search. It is still a bit of a brick, so you could cut it down to 2 if you wish. Arguably, if I'm going to put the fusion spell back in, I could put Debug back down to 2. It was one of the cards that I was taking out and dropping down to 2, purely because even with my Bounce Lord, if I open up Picari is going to be my additional summon, because I want the field spell off of it, and to extend plays further forward that way as well. So that's the route that I go with. Double Nibiru, saw it once and it won me a game. Every other time I saw it, it was a bit of a brick. There was even a period where I was like, damn, I'm going to have to tribute off 2 of my monsters and normal summon Nibiru. How bad is that? But yeah, double Nibiru in the main deck, absolutely fine. Take it out if you wish. Triple AI Land, this can easily be played at 2. Easily. So for some people that don't know what this does, they popped it and I was just able to reset it as well, which is really, really nice. So I was, game 2s, I was taking this out, taking one of them down, because I was always seeing it. I had Terraforming, I got Picari that searches it, and then after you've got it in play, even if your opponent gets rid of it, unless they banish it, you don't need another one. So I would actually consider taking this down to 2. Triple Core by the Grave, you want your Picaris, you want your field spell and all of that to go off unhinged, so you play triple of that. Triple Silent Mining, now if you don't have Minings right now, wait for Overload. don't buy them right now. That is your other option. If you want to play the deck right now, this minute, then I would put in the water. You could arguably put in the Water Ignister, the Ritual Monster, or the Cyber Magician, and the Ritual Spell. Entirely up to you. But you could take these out, or you just need to replace them with more monsters. You lose a bit of consistency, but it adds more monsters in there to add the consistency to it. Triple Lightning Storm, I don't like it. It was good in a couple of games. Like, I actually opened it up and I was like, yeah, let's go. But then there's a couple of games, like, as soon as you play your field spell, you seriously... Like, because there's no way of getting rid of it yourself unless you draw into another one. So it then becomes a dead card. So arguably you can take this out easy. Budget options, you go with Dark Ruler no more. What you want to do is you want abilities to kind of break opponents' boards. So you can put in 2 Dark Hole and a Regeki. You can put in main Twin Twisters if you want. Entirely up to you. So this is not a necessity. You can take this out. It did a bit of work for me yesterday, but it wasn't a match winner in my opinion on some of the plays that it made. Double AI or Idol Reborn. Don't need it free. I never saw the time of needing it free because I play 1 Monster Reborn as well. So this at 2 was perfect and this at 1 perfect. That's all I needed. Double Pot of Desires and a single Terraforming. And then to get to my field spells more, Set Rotation and Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine, I'm sorry, it is a must-have right now. Especially in a deck like this that needs to regain its resources after it's used it. Being able to set rotation, I actually was able to win a game with Mystic Mine. I kind of screwed myself over because I Mystic Mine, but had banished one of my field spells. One of my field spells was on my opponent's side of the field, and one of them I think was still in the deck, something like that. So I had no way of getting rid of this right till the last minute. My opponent then got rid of it, and I was then able to win the game off of there. But Mystic Mine is very, very good to kind of stun your opponent. They then have to try and out it, and that gives you time to regain your resources. And then triple imperms. These can easily be Veilers if you want them to be, or Ashes, or anything that is hand trap relevant at your locals. Imperm put in a bit of work, but other than that, it's unless you're going to wait to overload and hopefully the price tanks, it's not a necessity yet again. So you can change that out massively if you want to. Onto the extra deck. Now, the one thing that I will mention right now is I will definitely be putting the fusion back in because that was one of my biggest mistakes, was not having that at all. So that is it. That is rule number 1: put the fusion back in. So let's start with 1 Cyber's Wicked and double Link Garibo. Link Garibo put in a bit of work, which is quite nice. Cyber's Wicked puts in so much work, it's unreal. 1 Update Jammer, made it once or twice, but it won me the game, so I can't really complain too much about that. IP, I needed this more than you would think because all my cards say they require Cyberse. And that's one thing that I definitely need to look at is my Link Freeze. I've only got 1 that's generic. Other than that, I've got no other way of breaking a board or extending a board or getting a board off without kind of, you know, moving further forward. Like, if my opponent gives me a token or if I'm knocked under there and it can be 1 or anything like that, you really, really struggle. So that's something definitely for me to look into. Then for the Link Freeze, you got 2 Dark Templar, amazing card, and then the 1 Transcode. And this is what I'm saying, I do need to find a space for a Link Free, like a Unicorn. That definitely makes IP a little bit more relevant as well. I don't know what I would take out for it, but it's something to definitely look into. And then for the bigger boss monsters, you've got the 1 Avramax, the 1 Topological Zero Boros, and the 1 Firewall Dark Fluid. Fluid is your first turn negator. Zero Boros actually won me a game against the Shadow player because the only way that this works really well is if you've got an Idol Reborn, you trigger that, bring something back, and then banish everything. And that really, really gives you a lot of stun. And then this comes back and it was like 5k, so that was nice. Avramax, of course, the way this works is you get the attack lock between Avramax and your Cyberse Quantum Dragon. So with both of these on the board, if they don't get rid of either of them, they can't attack either of them, which is really, really cool. And if you make this with IP, which I did in my Dino matchup, it's kind of like an insane boss monster. It's kind of a necessity. This is probably the biggest card that I would say you have to pay out for to get to. If you want to, you can put in like a Bomber or you can put in another Dark Fluid. It's not the best route to go. You could put in a Borrowed as well if you want to. But then you've got to be careful because you lock yourself into Cyber, so you have to play around with that. But if I was to say, if you've got the entire deck, you can play it with 2 field spells, this is your next purchase. You have to get an Avramax. And then the best thing about Avramax is I don't think it's going to get reprinted in Overload, and it is probably one of the best Link 4s around right now. Then of course you've got the Wind Pegasus, never used it, and Double Light Dragon, went into it once or twice, or went into it a lot of times, but never went into 2. So that's something you could possibly look into as well, and take that out if you wish, or cut it down to 1. You definitely need it in the deck. It just depends on what you kind of leave yourself with. I'm then going to take you through the side deck. So the side deck again was quite straightforward. Double Twin Twister, double Mind Control. This actually put in a bit of work as well for me today. That's quite nice. Scythe and Sanctum package. Never saw it. Never really needed it. Yeah, so never really put it in, so you don't need to worry about that too much. Triple Dark Runner no more. Never saw it. Never really needed it. But it's completely understandable in this type of deck, because you need to. Now there's a lot of people that are like, but you're an OTK deck. That's true. But if you Dark Runner no more, because you've got your Pegasus and you've got your Light Dragon, you can clear off your opponent's monsters and spells and traps with those 2 cards, and then you put them at such a disadvantage that you then revive all your link monsters, go into because what you remember is template, if it destroys a monster, revives a link monster. That then allows you to kind of climb up, and then you go into either the attack lock with Clock Dragon, not Clock Dragon, Quantum Dragon and Avramax, or you go into a Firewall with a couple of negates and a Link Garibo, so you can't get impermed or evenly matched. Then Double Kaiju, last minute addition. Just because sometimes people put in boss cards that you need to get rid of. Avramax being one of them, UTC being another one, Winder, anything like that. And then a card that I love was the Gizmek Kaku. Now, this again actually won me a game. I played against the Zephyr player, dropped this on the Zephyr player, stole one of their monsters that was in the extra monster zone because it was Pendulum summoned, destroyed a monster by battle, summoned that monster, and then that monster went in for the attack. There was also the game that I posted a picture of on the YouTube, which was Shadows versus Invoked, and the Invoked player opened this up, and what he did is he was under Winder, so he special summons this. The opponent had Boral Sword and couldn't finish the game off, or misplayed and couldn't finish the game off. But he special summoned this, stole the Boral Sword, attacked over Winder with this, summoned the Boral Sword. Boral Sword then attacked another monster that the Shadow player had on board, and then switched the Gizmek to defense and then attack the game. So like right now, up until the start of April, so this is only good for a month, which is why they're going for like 15 quid. I still reckon pick them up while you can, because I think they're an awesome card. Very, very good, very, very fun. And like I said, it's not exactly a bank breaker. If you can pick them up for like 15 quid, I definitely would. I'm looking to pick some more up. Just because I think they look awesome and they're a really, really good and fun card to play around with as well. So that is it for the At Ignista Locals report. I hope this gave you a bit of an insight. Like I said, massive mistake on my behalf was not putting in a fusion. I don't know why you wouldn't. It's an additional. There was a couple of times I was like, I need another negate on my fluid, or I need another play. Yeah, it's definitely something that I would look at adding without a shadow of a doubt. Putting it back in, putting the fusion in. I played the fusion on the Saturday one. The Friday night locals, and then I didn't on the Sunday, and I really missed it on the Sunday, so that's going straight back in. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling.